All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, the 1st of February. Good news is there's 5 Thursdays in February, so we always love those months that come around. I would like to ask everyone for a brief executive session this evening relative to personnel matters and a possible property update. So if you would please hang out a little bit afterwards for the media's perspective and concern. There will be no decisions tonight.
Yeah, I have some property things I want to talk
about. Okay. As we enter our time of moment of silence, David Thomas, did you want to provide an update for Mr. Pugh?
I talked to Ron today. He's home. And he just got home this afternoon. And he was in the hospital or a rehab center for about 2 weeks. And he sounded much better. And
Good.
he's going to have to keep doing some things in rehab and physical therapy and so forth. But God bless his wife, Sue. She's going through a lot the last 6-7 months with Ron, unfortunately. And, but he sounded the best he sounded for quite a while.
Good deal. Thank you. All right, let's enter into our moment of silent reflection, followed by the pledge, please. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Take a swig before we start this. Go for it. Well, ladies and gentlemen of council and those viewing us live this evening, last time we met, we were preparing for what turned out to be our 14-inch snowstorm that blessed the city of Buckhannon and even higher amounts out in the county. And so I, in an effort to get everybody out of here in a decent amount of time, I decided not to present to you the State of the City address, but the weather's clear this evening. We've got a somewhat of a lighter agenda, so if you'll indulge me, here we go. State of the City Address 2024, Year in Review 2023. Members of City Council, department directors, administration, staff, business owners, and our 6,000 corporate residents of the City of Buckhannon, good evening and thank you for joining us as we highlight the many projects and accomplishments we've celebrated over the past year together and share some excitement for the future of our city in 2024. I've had the honor and privilege of serving as mayor of our hometown since July 1st of 2020. As we sit here tonight, it's hard to believe that nearly 4 years have passed. My first term serving in this high office in our city is almost finished. I'm pleased to announce, however, that I have officially filed for re-election, asking for you to support me as I seek a second term as mayor of our city of Buckhannon. Together, I'm confident that we will continue moving the needle forward, thus strengthening the campaign for making this community truly one of the very best small towns in America. We welcomed more new businesses to town, including the Coop, the Bright Side, Moonflower, Ironwood, Jimbo's, BU Time to Shine Car Wash, and the Hearing Aid Place. We also saw significant expansions by St. Joseph's Hospital, Community Care of West Virginia, Citizens Bank of West Virginia, High Point Construction, Argo Books, Blue Ridge Risk Partners, Orion Strategies, Fish Hawk Acres, Micrologic, Lynx, Strategy IT, Foster's Marketing Group, Parmar Stores, Sheets, Ace Hardware, and Windling's Food Service, all adding more jobs and more opportunities, which further proves that Upshur County is a great place to live, work, and invest. Building on the positive momentum of our business community, we finally completed the long-anticipated Colonial Arts Center redevelopment project. What began as a dream in 2016 to repurpose a blighted and former tavern on our otherwise beautiful Main Street is now a fully renovated, state-of-the-art public entertainment space, adding yet another amazing asset to the best downtown in West Virginia. We wouldn't have realized this significant accomplishment had it not been for the visionaries like former Mayor David McCauley, and local business leaders like Bryson Van Nostren, CJ Rylands, Keith Buckhannon, Catherine Kapari, Erica Kolinich, and John Waltz, just to name a few. Also, at some point or another, all of our city employees have had a hand in the construction of it or the fundraising efforts necessary to complete the project. Our city council wishes to sincerely thank every one of you, the visionaries, the contractors, employees, donors, and performance participants. We wouldn't be here today without you. Perhaps the most exciting part of the year of 2023 was our City of Buckhannon's incredible opportunity to host the World Association of Marching Show Bands, otherwise known as Randy's favorite acronym, WAMSB, in July. Our city recorder, Randy Sanders, West Virginia Wesleyan College administrators John Waltz and Elisa Lively, as well as local resident Brad Kellison, put together a truly inspiring proposal to the WAMSB Board of Directors in 2019 and 2020, which ultimately led to the 2023 competition taking place in Buckhannon, West Virginia. From there, an all-volunteer group of citizens led by Randy planned every detail of the event for two years. I think we can all say without a doubt that WAMSB 2023 here in our hometown was a tremendous success. Every part of the event went off without a hitch. Everyone who participated, either through spectatorship or performance, had a wonderful time in our amazing city. Our city council wishes to sincerely thank you, Randy, and all of the city employees and volunteers who put thousands of hours of blood, sweat, and maybe even a few tears to ensure that the citizens and visitors saw the very best that Buckhannon could offer. Now, I want to provide some updates from several internal city departments, highlighting accomplishments as well as goals that we have as we look toward the future. First up is our city fire department. Chief Kimball and our BFD members had yet another busy year. They responded to 1,120 calls total in 2023, but that's down 98 calls from 2022. That's a good thing. This is an interesting statistic. Individual call volume totaled 4,806 calls, which equals 4.3 members per incident. We began 2023 with some good news for property insurance payers, as our ISO protection class rating decreased to 3. The ISO protection class scale ranges from 1 to 10, with 1 being the very best score and 10 being the worst score. In my nearly 8 years of being associated with the city of Buckhannon, our ISO protection class rating has reduced from 5 to 3, a true testament to the talented and dedication of our firefighters. This hard work represents a 20% reduction in property insurance premiums. In September, myself, Chief Kimball, Captain Baxa, Lieutenant Ethan Smith, and firefighter Maria Potter all traveled up to Columbus, Ohio, where we were presented with the Firehouse Magazine Michael O. McNamee Award of Valor for acts of courage and bravery stemming from a successful life-saving mission on Pocahontas Street in November of 2022. Under the leadership of Captain Baxa, our fire department and our city hosted the first annual Country Roads Fire Conference at the Brushy Fork Event Center in January of 2023, and now, recently, a second time in January of 24. Firefighters from all over the Southeast, including from across the state of West Virginia, came to Buckhannon to learn from each other, share experiences and expertise, and enjoy everything our community has to offer. Chief Kimball has been collaborating and continues to do so with Chief Suttle of Weston Fire Department and Chief Himes of the Elkins Fire Department, as well as all the members of those 3 departments, and Chief Gregory of our City Police Department to begin a process of strengthening a mental wellness program for our public safety professionals. This is a great need. PTSD among fire and police officers is very high. While prior to this collaboration, services to provide assistance within this region have been non-existent. The program is designed to assist individuals with day-to-day accumulative services in the workplace. On to the City Police Department. The Police Department completed its second year into the CALIA accreditation cycle. We're happy to report that we continue to have a near perfect score, and the reaccreditation cycle pointed out 0 issues. This marks the halfway point of our process with a full reaccreditation set for 2025. Our police department continues to be an active partner with West Virginia Wesleyan College. We host not only criminal justice students as interns, but also service scholars by the Office of Community Engagement. Specifically with the Service Scholar Program, the police department began a membership program where a senior student volunteer guides and mentors a freshman student volunteer as they assist the police department with a wide variety of administrative tasks, including, but not limited to, helping manage the accreditation process. In 2023, we continue to be an active member of the Mountain Region Drug Task Force, where we have taken an active part in the investigation of drug activity, both in our city and through the region. We appreciate our partners with the Upshur, Barber, and Randolph County Sheriff's Departments, as well as the City of Elkins Police Department, all part of that task force. Last, but certainly not least, our police department trained 9 new VIPS members in 2023, resulting in a total of 11 active members. The VIPS were involved in 204 public and private events in 2023. Moving into 24, VIPS will celebrate its 10-year anniversary. Chief Gregory and Steve Wyckoff have a wide variety of events planned to commemorate this milestone, including a profile of the organization and its many accomplishments, as well as a recruitment drive. Now on to the sanitation department. In 2023, the collection crews and city contractors were able to upgrade over 5,000 feet of clay tile into new PVC pipes. Major projects in these upgrades included 1,100 feet on Shawnee Drive, 1,200 feet on Myrna Street, 1,200 feet on Taylor Street, 900 feet on North Locust Street, and 600 feet on Madison Street. Along with the Madison Street upgrade, services to vendors were also created around a newly constructed parking lot between East Lincoln and Madison Streets. And the storm water system was upgraded on the property as well. The entire redevelopment of this property should be completed in 2024. Major improvements to the wastewater treatment process were also completed with the installation of an automatic bar at the headworks of the plant. This, along with changes to the treatment process, has resulted in a clear effluent being produced. A major stormwater project took place to complete the Ritchie Street stormwater collection system. The project upgraded severely undersized pipes which created a bottleneck in the system. This was the 7th and final phase of the project, which began in the mid-2000s. In conjunction with the street and water departments, the intersection realignment of Scott Street and Shawnee Drive was completed with additional stormwater facilities as well. Water department. One of the great points of pride for our city is that we own the utility services in our community. We collect the waste. We provide high-quality drinking water. We operate wastewater treatment facility. All best to serve the citizens and business owners here in our community. We have continuously made necessary upgrades to all of our facilities, mostly completed by our own crews, all in an effort to squeeze every possible ounce of available life out of each plant, truck, pipe, and piece of machinery. Our city's water treatment plant, located on Wood Street, was constructed back in the late 1950s through the early 1960s. It has served us very well. Think about the growth, expansion, increased demand, as well as the everyday wear and tear on that facility. The plant, now in its mid-60s, age-wise, has long outlived its life expectancy. Again, thanks to our highly skilled water department crews. If not for them, we would have had to have constructed a new facility some 20 years ago, thus missing out on those additional years we've been able to utilize of our current plant. So what does this mean exactly? Well, our city needs to begin the exploration process of ultimately constructing a new water treatment plant. Unfortunately, none of us enjoy talking about utility rate increases, but the likelihood of a series of stair-stepped water rate increases will be necessary in order to complete this project. With 96% of Upshur County residents and businesses relying on good, clean drinking water provided by the city of Buckhannon, This must be a top priority as we continue to plan for our future. As for the work completed by our crews this past year, we now have a brand new 6-inch water main on Thurman Avenue, replacing the existing 4-inch cast iron line. This is a drastic improvement to both the water and fire services. Chief Operator Kelly Arnold presented the Water Board with a comprehensive list of lines throughout the city that require upgrades. We are tackling the most imperative needs first and working our way down the list. We also improved the water department's score from 26 to 34 out of a possible 40 points on the ISO protection class scale, following suggested flow testing methods, recording, and keeping maintenance of hydrants. The water and fire departments both worked very closely with each other to ultimately help us achieve an improved score of 3 on the 1 to 10 scale mentioned earlier in this report. Now, to streets, waste, and engineering. Jerry Arnold and Jay Holland have been busy as usual working through the long list of projects through the waste collection, streets, parks, sanitation, and water departments. Just this morning, Jerry shared at a waste board meeting that the all-encompassing waste department strategic plan should be completed by spring of this year. This will allow us to have a better understanding of our equipment needs, as well as how to proceed with rating customers, both residential and commercial, and inside and outside of city limits. Jerry has been working on this for the better part of 2023. Jay Holland is thrilled to report, because if you're in the utility meetings, you hear the constant delays of the FEMA generator projects. He's happy to report that we've completed the construction project management of the FEMA generator grant number 1, and we are nearly to the completion of generator grant number 2. The approximate value of number 1 is $1,203,994.86. I think Jay could have been a little bit more precise. With no reimbursement costs to the city of Buckhannon. Grant number 2's approximate value is $1,142,167 even, with no reimbursement costs from the city of Buckhannon. Jay is continuing to work on the engineering and design of the Island Avenue utility and street improvement project, including the orderly installation of new gas, sanitary, storm, and water lines from on the north side of Island Avenue, so that side, from North Florida Street to Gate Street. He is hoping to submit the project documents for the sanitary sewer collection system phase of the project to the Bureau of Public Health by mid-February of this year. We anticipate the sanitary sewer collection system will be installed late spring 2024 through late fall 2024. And the water line and the gas line by Mountaineer Gas, if required, will begin construction spring of 2025. We continued with the construction and project management activities for the Gateway West Phase 2. The approximate value of the grant was $625,840.30, with 20% contributing a contributing match from the city of Buckhannon. That value is $125,168.06. However, due to the efficiency of the street department, it is estimated that the project will be completed with an estimated cost of $458,958.94, with the city contributing $91,791.79. All construction has been completed except for the installation of the 4 street lights along the lower part of Amelia Drive, which is expected to be completed by late spring of this year. Once the 4 street lights are installed, Jay will begin the project closeout procedures with the West Virginia Department of Highways. Our city received funds, as we all know, in the tune of $2,382,905.27 through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, to help us realize significant underground utility improvements. We acted quickly to establish our plan of action so that we could complete the projects outlined in a timely and efficient manner. Our 6 projects included Taylor Street Storm Sewer Engineering and Hydrology Study, Taylor Street Sanitary Storm Collection System and installation of the project, North Locust Street Sanitary Sewer Collection System installation project, Tennerton Water Storage Tank Rehabilitation, Tennerton Booster Station Building, new booster station building completely, Tennerton Booster Station Building new water distribution system and installation project, purchase of new water equipment for the water treatment plant projects, preliminary hydraulic analysis for the Jawbone Run drainage basin. City Engineer Jay Holland, Sanitary Department Superintendent Ethan Croston, Public Works Director Jerry Arnold, Chief Water Plant Operator Kelly Arnold, Potesta & Associates, Verco Contracting, Pro Contracting, and Trade Works, as well as all of the members of our water, sanitation, streets, and City Hall staff all work together to complete the projects listed above. We don't often consider the service lines running underneath our streets or our weekly waste collection schedule, but their efficiency and effectiveness are crucial to the livability of our city. That concludes the department reports. In addition to the department heads listed above, Finance and Administration Director Amby Jenkins is truly an invaluable resource to this city. She is in this building before the sun comes up and doesn't leave till long after the sun goes down. And oh, by the way, I'm not just talking about the sunrises and sunsets of the winter months. If we were sitting here in mid-June, when the sun comes up at 6 a.m. and doesn't go down until after 9 p.m., the same is true. She has dedicated her life to the betterment of this organization, and we will never be able to thank her enough for her service. Amby and the team inside City Hall make it possible for our skilled labor departments to function properly, all in an effort to serve our citizens, business owners, and visitors. City Attorney Tom O'Neill, Stockard Youth and Community Center Director Deborah Brockelman, Colonial Arts Center Director Ann Wilson, and Building Code Enforcement Officer Vincent Smith all play integral roles in taking our projects from discussions to finished products. This year, we will also look forward to hiring our first ever event center manager. City Recorder Randy Sanders, Director of Finance and Administration Amby Jenkins, and myself will be reviewing applications this month as we work to add yet another dedicated team member to our city administration family. As you can see, once again, we have been extremely busy, but we wouldn't want it any other way. The team I referenced above includes more than 100 men and women who come to work here every day, all for one goal in mind: to best serve our community. Our City Council is extremely proud and thankful for each one of our employees. We sincerely thank you all of you, for everything you do. You make us the city that we are and the city that we want to be. Over the course of this next year, we must continue the momentum as we work to improve our city parks one at a time. The City Park on Park Street, thanks to the planning of our newly created all-volunteer Parks and Recreation Board, is going to look and feel much nicer this spring. We're excited to bring pickleball, paving, new lighting, a newly renovated pavilion, a regulation-sized basketball court, trail system, as well as improved playground equipment to the park by May 1. Once the city park is completed, 5 other of our 7 city parks in total will receive our attention. I'm confident that this energetic and dedicated group will continue doing a great job. Additionally, we have a much-needed streetscape project that is needed to beautify sections of Ritchie, Fayette, and Pocahontas streets, as well as the completion of infrastructure and improvements on Shawnee Drive. Members of City Council, as we work on our 24-25 general fund budget, I am asking that we continue to prioritize robust investments into infrastructure improvements. Our citizens and business owners deserve our attention to detail on all of our nearly 300 streets. Outside of infrastructure projects, we as a community must rally behind the students, teachers, staff, and administrators to support Upshur County Schools through our prayers, our presence, and our positivity. The vitality of this community depends on it. We must have a quality school system if we are going to continue to prosper. The new administration on Smithfield Street is working very hard to make the necessary corrections so that our school system, once again, is regarded as one of the finest in the state. Upshur County is full of blue and white Buccaneer pride. And if there was ever a time to let that pride be known, it's now. I am calling on everyone in Upshur County on May 14th, please vote yes. Vote yes for our students, vote yes for our teachers, vote yes for our bus drivers, vote yes for our coaches, and vote yes for our community. We cannot punish them for the errors that they did not make, for that only hurts us all. A child has one chance at an education, and I believe that it takes a village. So let's be that village, and let's carry our Buckhannon Upshur blue and white stripes to the poll this spring. Our future depends on it. Finally tonight, I want to say that I'm proud of my colleagues on this city council. Each one of you brings a wealth of knowledge and unique perspective to the table. I appreciate your friendship, your guidance, discussions, and even our disagreements. Our community is a better place because of the conversations held here and the diverse opinions and backgrounds that guide us forward. And so, to the citizens and business owners of this wonderful community, I am proud to report to you tonight that the state of our city continues to be strong. With the right decisions and strong heart and dedication, we continue to be well positioned for the future. Let the world have no doubt that we are one of the very best small towns in America. It is truly my honor to serve my hometown, the city of Buckhannon, West Virginia, as your mayor, and I cannot thank you all enough for your support, your love, encouragement, guidance, advice, and prayers, most importantly. So, let's bring on 2024. May God bless the city of Buckhannon, the state of West Virginia, and the United States of America. State of the City 2024. Now, can you want to run the meeting the rest of the night? So I don't talk anymore. I'll email that to
You
you.
got it, I appreciate it. I'll make sure that the media
Okay,
gets it as
24
well.
Yeah.
minutes and 28 seconds, if anyone was wondering.
That's why we didn't do it last time, because we would have been here when the snow started. So
Thank you, Robbie.
thank you, David. All right, we do not have our West Virginia West End College.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna see, Meredith, is that you on the phone by chance? Meredith Cottrell? Well, I think you were correct. I don't believe we have our West Virginia West End College.
If she comes, we'll yield the floor to her to
Okay.
give us a report.
Thank you for letting me check.
Sure, thank you. We do have our library director with us this evening. Good evening, Catherine. Hello, how are you? Been a tough couple of weeks at the library, but we'll get through it. We do have Dawn Nestor here that has wished to address the council this evening as we enter our time into recognized guests. Dawn, if you'd like to approach the podium so those on the phone and online can hear your remarks. Good evening, sir.
Hey, thank you, Mayor.
Hi, Don.
Hey, and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you folks about Stocker Youth Center. And I'd like to start out by thanking the council and the people in the city. A lot of the folks that Mayor, you mentioned in your State of the City address that have made Stocker what it is today. And Stocker is a thriving youth center out there, and I think it's something that we can all be proud of. I was on the selection committee when Mrs. Stocker left $500,000 for a youth center. And we scoured the county for locations, came back to East Main, was the best location. And we spent a lot of time under the management of the county to try to get the facility in shape for the students. We also, because the county had limited funding, we also went to several meetings where all we talked about is they were going to close the youth center down because they needed money to pay for regional jail costs. And our response was, the reason you have regional jail costs is because a lot of kids didn't have a Stocker Youth Center out there. Fortunately, the county passed it over to the city, and the city has continued to manage that, and it's growing. If you have anyone who comes to Buckhannon and goes to Stocker Youth Center, the first question I ask is, where'd you get all the kids? we can get all the kids. And it's a multifaceted program. It has recreation activities, but it also has the tutoring. It has a place in the schools. Mary, you mentioned about the school system, and kids have a place to go after the regular school system, to go for tutoring or for a safe place to go. And so we're very fortunate to have that here in Buckhannon, and I appreciate the council's confidence in that and support of the construction of a new facility there, that we can expand it not only for the youth, but also for the older folks, like all of us in the community, to use there. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that, for continuing commitment. And just like over the last 30 years, I kind of look back and think of the times that we struggled and didn't always agree on things, but we kept saying, but this is important for the kids. And I thought about just like the project you mentioned, Mayor, about all the things the city of Buckhannon does. You're kind of managing the finances of the city in that by picking choices, just like we do for our families. We sit back and say, because it is kind of our family, you're the community, we go back and we say, well, what do we think is a priority out there? And how do we make sure we cover it? I have to think a priority for us, in my family, in your family, in our community, has to be our kids. Has to be our kids. And as our population becomes older, we're an aging population, it also goes into the older adults that need some kind of facility to go to. So I really appreciate what you're doing. Anxious to move ahead on this, the process of constructing a facility, getting the funding, all the things that go on, with the determination, like we have for the last 30 years, of just saying, we may have some ups and downs, we may have some disagreements, we may have some challenges, we're going to have some successes. It's about for the people who use it. It's for the kids, it's for the adults, it's for us. So I appreciate it very much. That's the first thing I wanted to do. The second thing was, there may not be a whole lot of progress, but just wondering if you can give us an update on where it stands now, because I know we have a lot of things lined out. We have engineering work done, we have applications for funding, we have a lot of things out there, and these things take time. But if there's any way to give an update, just maybe for the folks on the lines as to where it stands, realizing, just like in the past, updates are saying we're working on it, but also we're all anxious for this to move ahead, just like you folks are.
Sure. Well, thank you, Don, for your remarks and for your vote of confidence in the group here for the leadership. But to answer your question, so we have finalized we've squared off all the property. Finally, we now have all of the parts that we need of the property across the street, with one final little piece that we just executed recently. So that's taken care of. We also, we've been, some members of council here recently have been in some contact with members of the USDA. We continue to wait for our letter of conditions, and the letter of conditions allows us the opportunity to go out to bid on the project. That could take anywhere between the next 30 days to the next 90 days. It all depends on the workflow of the USDA at that time. But the USDA continues to be positive about the project. Earlier this month, there were some concerns over the feasibility study, but some of those concerns have been since taken care of. So that's good news. But we just continue to be in somewhat of a waiting pattern. The federal government does not move quickly, as we've found with other projects that we've had in the community. So we continue to we wait patiently, and the good news is that as we wait, we are on some way of the backside of the interest rate inflation. They continue to creep down a little bit, so that could only be in our favor. At the time, I believe, Amby, when we were talking about this, when we thought that there was a chance we were getting our letter of condition before Christmas, we were around the 3.8, and now we're back down a little bit, maybe around 3.5 or 3.4. So things are, that's the USDA interest rate. So we're trending in the positive direction there. But I know that it's natural, I think, sometimes to get antsy about projects when you want them to take place, you want them to get going, you want them to happen. But we just need to be patient. We need to make sure we keep our composure here as a community and just stay positive. And when we receive that letter of conditions, we will then be able to go out to bid, and we will hope for a favorable bid. The city's decision, the council's decision collectively is that the project cannot overstep the $4 million mark. So we have to keep it at or under $4 million, which is the reason why we stepped back some of those add-ons and created a scale, created a priority list to, okay, so if the base of the project comes in, let's just say 2 or 3 million, then we have add-ons to take us toward our $4 million goal. But they are all listed in order, and they were listed in order by just priority. And that was discussed at the last Stockert board meeting. Randy, myself, and Amby sat down and looked at those priorities, and so they have to go in order. So if we want priority 3, we have to do priorities 1 and 2 first. That's the way it goes. Now, I know I'm throwing a lot of information out there, but if let's just say we have a smaller line item that might be priority 4 or priority 5, we could possibly have our internal city street crew, water crew, waste crew, whatever it is, the line item is, it's best suited for the department, could help us to complete that. So we wouldn't have to follow the rubric that has been set up and sent to the USDA. So we do have some wiggle room there. But a project like that would have to be somewhat small because we only have the street crew that we have, and we also have other projects out in the community. So that's where we are. It is still a wait game. We're waiting on our letter, and once we have that letter, we can proceed. Amby has been working very hard with the USDA and on the USDA application piece. I know, as I said, a couple of council members I found out sat down with with one of the members of the USDA team that we've been working with last week, and she confirmed that the project is moving forward. Some of the concerns have since been resolved, and so that helps it a little bit better off now. But it's still a waiting game.
Okay, great. And as you're speaking, Mayor, I thought about the determination for this to happen. And we've talked about schools a couple times. When I've gone before the Board of Education with the Education Foundation, and one of the comments I've made almost every time is, no one here has given up on education. I think for us, with our youth, no one's given up on our youth here. And I think we just need to proceed as well as we can, as you folks are doing. Again, appreciate your support, and we're going to continue to work for our community in a lot of ways. I think Stockert Youth and Community Center is one of those key success stories here that we just need to keep supporting. So appreciate very much your support, everyone here in this room and in our community, and we're just going to we're not going to give up on supporting our youth and our Stockert Youth Center. So appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good evening, good weekend.
Sure thing, thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Don.
Yep.
All right, Jerry and I had a lengthy conversation this afternoon. As we all are aware, this time of year, we don't have a lot of activity taking place out on the streets because it's just been so bone chilling cold, and then it just did nothing but rain, and so we have a giant pile of mud outside. But we, just so the citizens are aware, we are, as a council, we are very much in tune to and aware that several potholes have arrived on our streets. The extreme cold with the warm up and the rain and the cinders and salt, that's a recipe for disaster for our asphalt. So we will be making rounds this spring, taking care of the potholes. The Waring company, the asphalt company, does not open until sometime mid to late March, depending on temperature. So we can't fix them now. It doesn't make sense to fix them now because we are no way, shape, or form out of the woods. We have a whole 2 months of winter left ahead of us where we could possibly get some good snowfall. So just be patient. Try to swerve around them safely. But we will be making our rounds once the asphalt plant opens and the temperature's warm, and we have more confidence that the snows are over. So other than that, Jerry does not have a report this evening. Up next is our finance director, Ms. Amberly Jenkins. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Amy.
Hey. So first of all, thanks for all the nice comments recognizing the office and the employees. The City Hall is the heart of the operations, and all the ladies here, and everyone works hard to keep the city running and answer people's questions when they need it. So employees appreciate all those comments. So we've been working, I'm going to give you your balances first of all for January 24 for general fund money market and checking, $858,000. Your CD remains the same at 86. Historic landmark 3,030. Stalker Youth Center. The numbers on that need caught up. You have my report is in the very back of the packet. We were working on budgets today because your supervisors came in one day early. And we appreciate that. You cannot we are so glad you all did that. So we could get a little more time to work on it. So I had to do my report kind of last minute. That's why it's in the back. Municipal coal tax was, go back up to Stalker. So we didn't get that caught up today. It needs some interest put in there. And I'll note that Councilman McCauley gave a donation of $100 this past week. Coal tax, $42,662. Municipal stabilization fund, $923,000. Flood control count, $78,000. Consolidated Public Works Board, $168,000. That was just recently infused with the final payment from general fund of $50,000, and then their cemetery CDs at $235,000. Sales tax is at $1,804,000. We recently got the first or fourth quarter. Sales tax, it was $538,000 for the October-December quarter. American Rescue Plan, $571,000. We did open up the opioid account that was authorized by the City of Buckhannon's Council for $113,000. And we are also planning to move sales tax, $1 million of the sales tax into the higher interest-bearing account that you authorized through the West Virginia Board of Treasury Investments. So that's in the process. Like I mentioned, we just started working on, we got all the supervisors brought in their budgets requests for the new year, and we'll get into that when we get into the working sessions. As far as other things, let's see, revenues and expenditures. Revenues for the month of January was $858,000. We brought over $500,000 of sales tax revenue as per budget, so we bring that in increments as we need it. And expenses was $642,000. In your bills to be approved, you have a few of those worth noting. Create Buckhannon, $10,000 was their 23-24 request. That was given to them. $7,093 was paid to Municipal Emergency Services for turnout gear for the fire department. $3,000 was paid to Build Your Culture. So, as was mentioned, the fire department had training conference at the conference center, and so these next few bills are for that. $3,000 Build Your Culture for training at the conference center, fire department. $1,250 Hornet Fire LLC was an instructor for the conference. $1,300 Mayday Mindset Consulting also for the conference. Then we have $16,999 Appalachian Equipment for a brush hog for the excavator. $3,700 KC Earls for youth basketball, Stalker Youth Center, and $1,200 to Uniform Outfitters for police jackets and alterations. The other things I tend to try to mention, The Colonial Arts Center has several events coming up here in February. February 9th, 10th, and 11th. February 9th and 10th at 6 p.m. and 11th at 2 p.m. They have the murder mystery play, and it's called The Single Man. The tickets are $15 each, and those tickets are available at City Hall, Chamber of Commerce, and Salon 88. On the 20th, there's at 6 p.m. There's an event called Jazz and Java. That sounds like a really cool event. It's a dinner buffet. It's hosted through West Virginia Wesleyan College, one of our partners with the theater. They'll have a dinner buffet, cash bar, live jazz music, and professional jazz singers. And they're going to have a gumbo cooking demo. The tickets for that's $35. You can get those at City Hall. On February 23rd at 6:30, there's going to be a West Virginia film documentary about 3 West Virginians over a span of 2 years. It's called Oh Pioneer. It stars actually one of our local artists, Tim Hibbs. Tickets are $10, and those are available if you go onto our Colonial website through Rec Desk, or, well, that's where you can get them. You can actually come in here and pay $10, and we can give you a receipt for a ticket. Stalker Youth Center activities. In your package, you're going to see their activities for the month of January. 2,700 participants, and those range from various activities of kickboxing, kangoo, karate, violin lessons, basketball, party rentals, after school. So that's it for my report. And then you'll see in your packet, and that's going to be, I think, later, you have a working session February the 14th for budget session.
Those are 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Sorry, what was it?
A working session February 14th. That's in the back of the packet.
How many work sessions do you believe we'll have for the budget process?
This first work session is going to be, I think, fairly quick. It's going to be myself and Barb going over what we are going to be working on from now to then with the revenues and expenditures. And then, you know, you can go through the next work sessions with your supervisors pretty quickly as soon as you, I mean, we could have, I mean, it depends on how you want to do it. If you want to spend all day and get them all through in one day, we can do that. If you
But
want
you
to
have
break
to
it.
submit it before the end of March, is that correct?
March
Yes.
31st is
Yes.
our drop dead date.
Yes. I'd like to have it finished so it can be approved by the 21st, since that's your last council meeting in March.
But we'll probably meet 4 or 5 more times, you think? Special meetings?
You'll have at least, yeah, one, it depends on you, what you want the supervisors, if you want them to come back. And like I said, you can do 2 supervisors in, you know, a couple days and have most of them through in a couple days, or all of them in one day if you really want to put that kind of.
But we usually did at least 3, that's my recollection.
Yeah, so you're gonna have your first one with myself and Barb, then you'll probably have 2 more. 2 more, is probably what you'll do.
It is on the agenda to set the first one, and I believe Teresa communicated with everybody, and I think February 14th
That's
at 9 a.m. is what works best for everyone. So at this time, I think if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to invoke Chair's prerogative and bring F3 to the table and go ahead and ask that we officially approve a public, again, all of our working budget sessions are public, they're open. Anyone is welcome to come and participate. But we'll set that special meeting here in City Council Chambers on Wednesday, February the 14th at 9 a.m. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Thomas, a second by Mrs. Bucklew. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. That motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you all very much, and Amby, thank you. Are there any questions for
I
Amby?
need to ask something, I don't know if this is the place, but I had my first downtown seasonal decorating committee meeting, January 23rd, and we were talking about doing some things for the spring for downtown. And one of the things is we would like to get some spring flags to put downtown, and possibly a little bit of other things, but that to start with.
Like banners on the street
Banners,
pole?
yes.
Okay.
And I also have a booklet that if we order by the end of February, we can get 35% off, and we were hoping, I mean, this is something we can do, but I have to find out if we can do it first, is a lot of people's wanting to start adding one at a time, something to hang over Main Street for Christmas, okay? Right now, if we can do this, we can get 35% off of that.
What kind of thing to hang over Main Street for Christmas?
Like, the greenery,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
And may even have, something in the middle of it.
All right, so here's what we need to do about that. First of all, for spring, let's take first things first.
Okay.
We need a total. We need a total of what you're thinking and a proposal to go into our budget session, because that's gonna be general fund. That's gonna come out of, out like the street department with with everything else, like the flowers and the other banners that we put up throughout the year.
Well, okay,
So-
I was just wondering if there was any money left over for us to at
Yeah,
least
you're,
get the.
I think she'd want.
You want this year? You want for like this
Yeah, I wanna-
spring?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
this-
Contingency, you have 22,000 in, so once you,
so we need a total. We need a total, with and without the
I
discount.
talked to one of the suppliers today, and he's supposed to be sending me brochures. And I also have something online, but I haven't had time.
I think
to
one of
look
the,
at it.
we have to get permission to span Main Street.
Right.
We do. That's why I said the Christmas, we might have to hold off
That's down
on.
the road
But
for the Christmas, but I'm just saying, we would like to do the flags for the spring at least, get that
Okay.
done.
let's do this. If you can maybe try to meet with your committee just maybe one more time this month, try to get a number together. We have a consolidated public works board meeting at the end of this month. Maybe bring that to that meeting. Ask any of your committee members that want to come also to that meeting. Let the consolidated public works board hear it and see it, and they would be the ones to ultimately approve that addition. Okay, for this year. But if we want to keep this going continually, adding more and more over the years, that's part of our budget session.
But I do have a meeting, my next one's February 12th here.
Okay, then that falls in before.
Right.
So just let me know or let Teresa know by, let me see here.
I just remember the last time we ordered flags, I knew it was around $3,000 or $4,000 on that, Amby. Probably a little bit higher now.
yeah, the banners, yeah.
So your meeting's the 12th? So we would need to know by,
Meeting is the 12th.
okay, we need to know by Friday at noon on the 16th.
Okay.
Okay, to set the agenda for the following, because consolidated will be on the 22nd.
And then that would be brought back to council for funding?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a recommendation coming out of consolidated. They would more approve the concept of it, and then council will approve the funding.
Okay.
So, okay, that's a good idea. Thank you, Pam. And thank you for doing that. Okay, we have Meredith here now, who's arrived from the college. So Meredith, we will hear your report, and then we'll get to Chief Kimball.
I'm really sorry about that. Something come up really late.
But you're here now.
Yeah.
You're there.
So, good evening. Happy New Year from the students at West Virginia Wesleyan. So, our students returned back on January 15th, and we're excited to be back. So, the first thing I want to talk about was a concern that was brought to Student Senate. And I am requesting that from the city to paint a crosswalk on College Avenue from the administrative building sidewalk to the Performing Arts Center. Our students have noted that cars drive pretty fast on that section of College Avenue, and our students would like some safe walking space from the commuter parking lot and the PAC so that drivers would have to give students the right of way. And I believe faculty and guests also park there. So, and I've noticed too, as just a student that drives through there, that there are cars that drive through there way too fast. And we do have a lot of commuters. And just for reference, one of the lots that was the commuters was made a dorm lot as well. So that was kind of taken away from them. So that is now their go-to lot.
Okay. We'll chat with Jerry Arnold in our street department about that, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe request to come to the consolidated public works.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be good. So, If you can't have a representative here at our Consolidated Public Works Board, because it will be Thursday, the 22nd at 7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
If you can't have somebody here, have a report and maybe some pictures and a formal request submitted by Friday, the 16th.
Okay.
And that way we can put it on the agenda for the board members to consider, okay?
Okay.
So
thank
that's
you.
Friday, the 16th, we need a written request to City Hall. And if you send it to Elisa, Elisa can send it to Randy and we can get it taken care of. But then the meeting will be the 22nd, Thursday at 7:30 in the morning here.
Okay.
And we generally, Meredith, have a lot of issues in the whole community with people going too fast
Mhm.
on residential streets.
Yes,
I mean, it's absolutely amazing how fast they go,
Mhm.
and going through stop signs and so forth too.
Yes, we're just concerned about the safety of
Sure.
the students, for sure. But I appreciate it, thank you. We have several events for Black History Month, and we hope you can join us for some of them. So the CCE on February 7th is Black Policy Day at the state capitol, and students will attend. February 13th, it's DEI Culture to Go. DEI talks about history of African Americans in martial arts. And February 15th, Wesleyan Sleeve Gallery exhibit is opening reception of Sankofa in African Diaspora in Appalachian Exposition in Paul Gallery. February 20th, we are excited to have our Jazz and Java Cooking Gumbo with jazz featuring Chef Jason Fleck at the Colonial Arts Center. February 29th, DEI Culture to Go. DEI talks about the Black Tax. February 16th, 23rd, and 29th, Black Film Fest, hosted by Argo Bookstore. And it says call 304-473-8163 for ticket information and details. So the Center of Community Engagement and Bobcat basketball teams hosted Girl Scouts this past weekend for a doubleheader against Davis and Elkins. The Scouts were able to do a craft, get a photo with the Bobcat athlete, cheer on the team with their new orange and black pom-pom, and take home a poster autographed by the players. A special need prom was hosted on Saturday, January 27th on campus. The theme was A Night Among the Stars, so naturally we invited cutout versions of our favorite celebrities to join the night. The Special Olympic athletes and college students volunteers all enjoyed hitting the dance floor, and we're looking forward to athletes being back on campus for the Special Olympics basketball tournament on February 18th. There is a Red Cross blood drive coming up February 1st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Social Hall. The Red Cross is operating in a shortage, and this drive is open to the campus and community. You can go to the Red Cross website to sign up. The Wheatley Poverty Reduction Team is collecting food donations during the Super Bowl season to benefit our community neighbors at the parish house. Donation items include vegetable, tomato, mushroom, chicken, bean, ramen noodles, etc. They will also accept green beans, corn, canned fruit, beans, black beans, chickpeas, lemon beans, etc. Tuna, chicken chunks, albacore, tomato sauce, pasta for tomato sauce, mac and cheese, cereal, oatmeal, PB&J, kid items such as snack chips and juice boxes, apple sauces. Also, many campus organization leaders will be taking the plunge on February 10th for Special Olympics. They've been working on raising money in exchange for the chilly yet fun event. In addition to Black Policy Day, a group of students will be taking a trip to Environmental Day at the Capitol on February 13th. February 18th, the college will host a regional basketball tournament for Special Olympics Upshur County. We would love to have you volunteer. February 22nd is a day dedicated to the community engagement pillar of Division II athletics. All of our athletes will be coming together to package Easter eggs and write notes to all the children in Upshur County Head Start. In athletics, you are still welcome to attend any athletic events for free. for specific times of our events is on our website at www.wc.edu. And also, I won't be here because of spring break, and that's the beginning of the month. So I won't be here until April, at the beginning of the month.
And by that time, this semester will be about just wrapped up. That's hard to
Yeah.
believe.
It's crazy, yeah.
You going anywhere fun for spring break?
No.
Just home?
Just home.
Well, then you could just kind of spend it with us.
I mean,
When is spring break? What are the dates?
it's the 1st through the 10th.
1st of March?
Yes.
Wow, I mean, you,
Are you taking the polar bear prize on the February the 10th yourself?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet.
When are you gonna make that decision?
Probably soon. But yeah, I hope to be able to do it as long as my schedule aligns with it.
Have you ever jumped in a river at this time of year?
Nope.
Mayor, can I make a suggestion? Until we make the decision on the crosswalk for them, why can't we get Matt Gregory to put that speed thing in there?
yeah, we could do that. I don't know that it's ever been in that section of College Avenue,
It
so,
hasn't that I know of, but it may help if you don't have no problem.
yeah, we can do that. I'll text Matt. So we have a speed trailer. You may have seen it down on East Main Street. We put it down there because that's a popular route with college kids, and whether do they ever fly down East Main Street, so, but it goes to different places in town, so we'll, in the meantime, while we're waiting to make this decision for the right board, we'll put that down, on that side of College Avenue.
Yeah, we've talked about that as a temporary thing, but yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Any other questions or comments for Meredith? I don't think so. Thank you so much. Enjoy your spring break.
Thank you.
Now it's time for Chief Kimball.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, JB, how you doing?
I'm doing good. In your packets, the end of the year run sheets, and actually, I got to looking when the mayor was doing his speech up there. We did 1,120 incidents. This form has 1,118, and I looked at my time parameters up here. There was an hour on each end that I missed, so there was 2 incidents that did not get put on there. So, my mistake. So later on, hopefully in March, I'll have a gap report, which is our annual gap report of each shift and how they responded to specific incidents. And I'll have more in detail on that as far as data for response times, not only for us, but for the 911 center taking calls. So it's a work in progress. Couple things I just have. The fire conference went well. We had some visitors that came out and saw our 3-bedroom house that we built in the old waste garage. It was a big hit. It was utilized very well. Everybody, all the instructors that came really loved it. And to add to that, our Connex boxes are out there, so as soon as we start getting some weather, we can start placing the Connex boxes for the live burn. So our process that we were talking about is we have the old offices in there. We can do some instructional class, then go out and do dry runs in the house, and then do live burns out in the Connex boxes. So hopefully we can expand on that next year. As Ms. Jenkins was speaking, I met with her today, kind of went over some budgetary things. Just as I spoke last year, one of the biggest items that we're looking at is self-contained breathing apparatus. Ours, if you remember, when Chief Townsend was here, we got free air packs that were probably 12 years old from California because they got a grant to get new ones. Those packs are getting to the point where the suspension's dry rotting on them. They're just, you can't get parts for them anymore. So we're going to have to bite the bullet. We wrote grants 3 years in a row, and we're denied each year for those air packs.
Why do you think they're denying us?
Truthfully, I think, and I don't know, they don't tell you why. They used to give you an explanation.
This is highly competitive.
It's very highly competitive, and they look at, Detroit can get them easier than Buckhannon can because of the need and the monetary need for them. Because the federal government, our SAM's number here, the city of Buckhannon is a financially sound communities. So they don't look at it as much need here as it would be like in Detroit or some of the bigger cities where they don't have the money coming in. So, but they don't explain that anymore. They don't go into detail. This year, I'm beginning to write a couple micro grants, which are like radios, fitness equipment, stuff like that, to try to start small and grab some low-lying fruit, as you may say. So, working on that now too. So, I wanted to make everybody aware. I've said this over the last few months. We had multiple fires from Christmas Day through mid-January in vacant, unsecured buildings. And these buildings have no electric, no gas, so they're, we have people getting in these buildings trying to sleep in these cold nights. They light a small fire, the fire gets out of control, and they leave. And we had multiple. And so I'm explaining to the public, if you have a vacant building or a vacant structure that you own, you please go check and make sure it's secured. Especially if there's snow on the ground, you can tell if somebody's been around. When we go to, we call it a vacant building, but we don't deem it vacant until we've searched every survivable space of it, so that puts us at risk, because in today's world, even though nobody lives there, it's not truly a vacant building, because a lot of people are getting in these places to try to get warm. So please check your building. The mental wellness program, as the mayor spoke about, has began. 3 members, one from each county, Lewis, Upshur, and Randolph, have started their 12-week certification and coaching. And when it is complete, there will be 3 more get a 6-week certification in that. Then they will be able to provide us the peer support instruction to help members in need and to be able to recognize issues and stuff like that. So, and that being said, I don't know if you all keep up with some of the Facebook stuff, but Chief Mike Hart from the Belington Fire Department, I want prayers for his family. He was responding to a call. Mike is a 70-plus-year-old member, 50-year member of the Belington Fire Department. The Hart family is well known for the fire service in Barber County, and he was in a bad accident, was flown to Morgantown, and he's still at Ruby, but he's stable at this time. Prayers to his family.
He had a health challenge while he was driving, correct?
Yes. He, Mike's had some health issues, but he's still, committed to his community and was responding to a vehicle fire, and he lives right around the corner from the firehouse, and he had an incident and ran off the road and hit a tree. So, and we've spoken to the Belington firemen. I'd really like to go over and sit down and have some donuts and coffee with them. Just, anytime you'd have to deal, I would hate to cut one of my own people out of a vehicle, because that's what had to happen there. The Belington Fire Department responded to one of their own members, and it was not a good situation at that time. So, prayers to them, and if y'all have any questions.
Have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Since we have a better ISO rating,
Yes.
and you said 20% reduction on fire insurance, how do people find this out? Do their insurance company automatically do that, or do they have to find out themselves?
The majority of insurance companies recognize ISO. There's a few that go off a zip code model, which also takes into effect ISO, but a lot of it's, the biggest draw on insurance in West Virginia is typically storm damage. It's not fire damage. But your ISO, anybody that I know that, except for State Farm. State Farm goes off a zip code model, but everybody else that I'm aware of has an ISO. I would call and make sure. But here's the thing, you have to make sure you're in Buckhannon District, and you're within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant, and you're within 5 road miles of the fire station. Because if you're more than 5 miles away, you're automatically Class 10. And we ran in that to a lady out in the Lick Run area who went from, at that point in time, a Class 4 to a Class 10, because she's 5.4 miles from the Buckhannon Fire Department, and her insurance went from $600 and some dollars to over $2,000.
She was my client.
Yes.
Really?
So don't you think she would want a fire station within 5 miles?
Right.
She was right in smack in between Adrian and
Adrian was
Buckhannon.
5.9 miles and we were 5.4. The insurance companies are doing that now because it's a 5 mile, for that classification.
Technology has improved, but, so, your insurance company will get, so like, I checked mine and it says 3.
Yes.
So they automatically report that to the insurance companies, and so when your policy, you won't see it until the policy renews, so everybody by this time should be seeing it.
Okay, that's where I'm, let the public know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Any
And
other
also, I want to tell you, I really enjoyed coming out there to that fire conference thing.
It was really enjoyable. We had, that day, we had over 30 people from all over West Virginia and outside of West Virginia. And on Saturday at the conference part, we had close to 60-ish. And we had people from Loudoun County, Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and they're ready to come back next year.
Well, I asked you a dumb question while I was out there, which I do sometimes. A bunch of the guys was in the room where it was really dark, and I said, why aren't they having a light on in here? And he said, well, because you train where it's dark. That's because that's where they work most of the time, is in the
So
dark.
later on, we took that darkness and also we have smoke machines that generates fake smoke, which that's as live as you can get until you go out and you have a burned room. And that's the next step with the Connex boxes is we get them stacked and we'll have numerous burn rooms, how to advance hose lines. But that house that our crews built out there is, everybody praised it, so. And I want to thank Randy for all his assistance out there. I'm sure he got to visit with a lot of firefighters and some very intelligent people, and we had a good time. So.
It was very enlightening, because I'm overseeing the event center. I was there to check everyone in the morning. I could have left, because it was in good hands.
Yeah.
Joey and you and the crew were there. I know the mayor was there for a good part of Saturday and I think part of Sunday. And I was there for both days, and I found myself drawn into listening to the speakers and understanding better, what it is that the firefighters face each time. And I think several of us did go out on Friday
Yes.
to visit the.
Mr. Rigger did. You.
Right.
And also Commissioner Kenny and somebody else. I can't remember, but I know
Well,
Commissioner.
it's great to have that in our community.
Yes. So we had a good time. Looking forward to next year. And so we'll be in touch.
Good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right, up next we have City Attorney Tom O'Neill, who's joining us via the TV screen, who brings us a few updates this evening. Tom, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Mayor, thank you, and thank you to members of council. Hope you're having a good evening tonight. Just wanted to just bring the council an update on a few things that I've been working on. First, as to a couple matters that are on the agenda for tonight, with respect to the MOU, I just want to report that I've reviewed that and signed off. I don't have any objection to it. With respect to the annexation ordinance, we're still awaiting a response to a request for some additional information from St. Joseph's Hospital relative to their tenants, Dr. Kress and my eye doctor, that we need in order to proceed with that ordinance. So I don't, Mayor, unless I'm mistaken, I haven't seen anything additional on that. Have you received anything?
Just today, I got an email, I was copied on an email from my eye doctor, and just so we're clear, it's not, when Tom says it, when I say it, we're not talking about our personal eye doctors, it's called My Eye Doctor, so that's the business name. So they're wishing to meet with Skip and myself about this, so I don't have a date on that yet. He asked Skip for his availability, so that was just
Okay, if you'd
today.
like me to participate in that
I
meeting,
would like you to, whenever we get that date settled.
I'll be there. I'll be
Okay.
there. Concerning a couple of other matters that we've been working on, I spoke with Dale Bennett about the rail trail survey. He said that could be finished in approximately 2 weeks or so. And again, once that's in, we'll be able to wrap up the property exchange with West Virginia Westland. in talking with Amby, we may have a couple of additional small modifications to the employee handbook coming your way. I don't know if those will be, if we'll be ready for those at the next meeting or the first meeting in March, but just be aware that those are coming, as well as efforts that we're going to be making in light of the new state law regarding municipalities bearing a portion of the burden for regional jail fees, beginning work on revising or reforming some of our criminal ordinances to remove jailability from those offenses. We've been doing that for some time now because of the duty that we would have to provide jury trials in cases of an offense that includes a potential for jail time as a penalty, even though we have not sent anybody to jail. Dave McCauley, I'd be curious to know if you can recall the last time anybody went to jail from municipal court, if that's ever happened. But the bottom line here is that because of the way that new state law is written, we need to remove we need to take it off our books. Otherwise, we could be hit with some pretty significant regional jail bills that could really eat into the budget. So.
Tom, I don't think we've had anybody sent to jail since the early 2000s. It's my recollection, anyway.
Yeah, so 20 years, and I don't anticipate there's a lot. Well, now with this change coming out of Charleston, I just don't. Obviously, it's for the council to make the ultimate decision on this, but as a way to protect the city's budget in light of this change, it's a reform that I would recommend that we pursue.
Clarification, Tom, was there not some mention that if a municipal police officer cited the person, made the arrest, the charge, whatever, and even if it went to magistrate court, wasn't that part of the intention to hold the city responsible since our...
Yeah, if the charge could be, and I think the state law is a little ambiguous, which is part of the problem that we're facing. If it could be charged in municipal court, the same crime, then the city would be responsible for up to 3 days of the regional jail bill for that offense, even if it's run through magistrate court.
I mean, this is an unfunded mandate, folks. I mean, we could be...
Yep.
I mean, you could be looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars in expenses that we don't see coming down the pike. So whatever steps we can take that Tom is suggesting, I certainly would endorse that.
And I know there had been some earlier discussion about the potential of us being, receiving an invoice for the county commission. Has anything come in on that, or has there been any further discussion?
I have been in discussion. This was before the change in leadership up there when Christie was president. I had a conversation with Christie that we needed to work out some details before that took place. So,
okay. And of course, I'm going to work hand in glove with Chief Gregory about this, and I'm not going to recommend any action that he doesn't endorse. But I think there's a feeling that for purposes of our municipal code and the municipal court, the ability to impose fines is probably enough of a penalty for that court. Obviously, unless the council feels otherwise, but to do otherwise, as Councilman McCauley states, could open the city up to potentially significant liability or financial liability, I should say, on those bills.
The only thing that keeps it from truly being an open blank checkbook is that right now it's the first 5 days, but that could easily be changed. I mean, that's an easy piece of legislation that could go away tomorrow.
Well, and it doesn't take a whole lot of creativity to think about the County Commissioners Association or the Association of Counties going to the legislature and say, hey, 5 days, that's a pretty arbitrary number. Let's make it 10, or let's make it 30, or let's take the limit off altogether, because if it's a crime chargeable under a city ordinance potentially, then, and it's made, in city limit, it's committed in city limits, then, why limit it to 5 days? So if we just take that off the table altogether, I think the city would be well protected.
I agree.
I don't want to beat it to death, but Matt Gregory in his time as chief, he has been very well versed with his officers to, if it's a jailable offense, when the investigation starts, routinely, the officers will take it to magistrate court.
Yeah, and that happens most of the time. Occasionally one still comes through, but we deal with those on a case-by-case basis. But I agree that, or my recommendation at least, is that we just take it off the table completely.
Tom, before we let you go, from your report, do you want to just discuss briefly with the council the memorandum of understanding that's in the packet?
Unfortunately, for some reason, I cannot bring the packet up on my computer. I cannot get that file to open.
Okay.
So I don't have a copy of it.
So, okay, I will summarize
But I
it.
have reviewed it. I've reviewed it previously, and I don't have, this has to do with, it's a one-pager, if I'm not,
Yeah,
if
it is.
memory serves. And it just has to do with the
Sharing of information.
Yeah, well, if you have it there and want to
Yeah.
speak to it.
It's the sharing of information, so basically, we all know that we're part of this large 13-county region with the respect to the opioid money that we've received, or that we will be continuing to receive. This is an effort to kind of sub-regionalize Randolph, Tucker, Upshur, Lewis, and Barber, and then the cities that are a part of those counties, to kind of band together and to make us relevant when you look at the giant region that we're in. And the reason that this thought process came about was because our region includes Monongalia County and Morgantown, Marion County and Fairmont, Harrison County and Clarksburg and Bridgeport. Obviously larger areas, obviously areas that are going to get a lot of attention in this region, and we felt that there was an opportunity for us to come together, to share information, to kind of band together as a group of counties, because even together, we're still smaller than Monongalia County. And it would just help us gain a little bit of traction in this part of the region as we look toward opportunities to create programming and to spend monies down the road that could benefit us from a regional standpoint. This doesn't commit us to any dollar figure.
There's no financial commitment associated with this as well. There's a call for a voluntary contribution to help offset some of the costs, but there's no mandate.
This is essentially, at this step, sharing of information.
Do you want to go ahead and do it, Ronnie?
I would like to.
I'd move that we approve the MOU regarding opioid litigation with our regional county folks.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. McCauley, a second by Mr. Rigger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, that motion is carried. Okay, so, but just for clarification, you authorized me to sign on behalf of the city of Buckhannon.
Yes, right.
That's what you did, so, okay. And then every other mayor of the cities, and then the president of each commission will also have to sign. I don't know where we are in the process. I don't know how many have signed, so ours is done now. So thank you very much. Anything else, Tom, for your report?
That's, nothing further, sir.
Any questions for Tom? Okay. Down to correspondence and information, you have 2 addressing and mapping verifications at 14 Ritchie Street. One is for apartment 101, one is for apartment 201, and then you also have the cat and dog activity from the Upshur County Commission, and that is for December 23. Under the consent agenda, we do not need to break anything out tonight. We've got E1, 2, and 3, that is the meeting minutes from 118. We have the approval of the building and wiring permits, and then we also have the approval of the payment of our bills. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? A motion by Mr. Rigger, a second by Mrs. Bucklew. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. So we don't have any other issues for discussion and or vote because F2, as you heard Mr. O'Neill's discussion, we need to table that yet again. I hope to have that, we try to get a meeting on the books with Skip and with the My Eye Doctor folks and Tom between now and the next meeting so that we can start this process. Tom has got an annexation first reading ready to go for us. We just need to get all the parties approved. And if you'll recall, the hospital is the one requesting that all of these parcels of property be annexed, but the tenants of said properties must also be on board. So we don't need a motion, but if you would like, I would entertain a motion that we once again table ordinance 466 on first reading to the next meeting.
So,
The motion by Mr. Thomas, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sanders. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, that motion carries. We are down to council comments and announcements, and we'll begin with Mrs. Bucklew.
Do we have any idea about when the library may be getting opened back up?
No.
We're gonna work as fast as we can to get it
Yeah.
going back up.
But
Yeah.
there's no,
There's no set
We don't
time.
have a actual date yet.
people were asking me that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I understand.
Okay, okay.
Also, we want to make sure it's well known, we will not be imposing late fees. There is a book drop-off point outside at the library. If you visit the Tennerton Library, I believe they will tell you to bring the book down here to this library and put it in the book drop. They are monitoring that. We don't want you taking the books necessarily to the Tennerton Library. That's a different operation altogether. They're not one and the same. So we don't want our books we don't want to lose our books to them and them to us. So just please drop them off in the box down here on East Main Street. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Normally we don't care, but right now we do.
Yeah.
Okay, and next Saturday, the polar plunge for Special Olympics. And Dave Thomas and I are going to do it representing City Council. I don't know if anybody else.
I'm doing it too.
Okay, other than the mayor.
Yeah.
So we're asking if anybody wants to donate money on behalf of our team. And it will be a treat just to come down and see what I'm going to dress Dave up as.
It'll be what?
what will be?
She said it'll be a treat to see what she dresses Dave up as.
Hope I get to wear something.
Oh, trust me, you will be, yes, you will be.
Keeping fingers crossed, it looks like it might be in the low 50s, so that's hopefully.
Not the water though.
Not the one.
No. Yes, come down and see the three of us in action. So, anything else, Pam?
No, that's it.
Mr. McCauley?
Compliments to the library staff and everyone who took vigilant action in our issue. 41 years here, that's a new one for me, so I'm adding that to the list. But I think the purchase of the heaters is another good idea that will further nip the infestation bug in the bud, right? Maybe on that crosswalk up at Wesleyan, we could look at doing something like similar to what they do up at Ruby with the mid-block stop signs even. I mean, the kids do, in fairness to the folks that are really going fast down College Avenue, I bet you 9 out of 10 of them are college kids making a tear to get to the right down there in back of Rockefeller where they park, you know. I mean, it's something to think about. Appreciate Mr. Nestor being here, speaking on behalf of Stockard. And I would ask the council, given the 30-year anniversary of Joyce Stockard's will, next month, it'll be 30 years next month that Joyce Stockard died. 30 years of Stockard, we ought to be celebrating a couple of generations worth of folks that have experienced the wonderful things at Stockard. So the other thing is we've talked about post-pandemic doing some more things to further facilitate the capital campaign. I know Pam and Nancy Shoeb were talking about a bingo purse, Vera,
Yeah.
something, whatever it is.
Purse bingo.
Yeah, and you had also talked about a telethon
Yep,
auction.
Yep,
And don't forget, we made between $10,000 and $11,000 with the singular elimination dinner we did back before the pandemic. I've talked to CJ about it, and he's willing to sponsor another one. So as we sit there around $460,000, I think we could get that to a nice round $500,000 with some of these things that we'd be planning on doing. I would ask whether it might be suggestible recommendation to move to resumption of the Stockard meetings on a monthly basis instead of quarterly, particularly until we get the building, ground broken on the new building. That's a rhetorical question.
Okay,
That's all I've got to see.
thank you, sir. Mr. Rigger?
I appreciate your State of the City address and reviewing the accomplishments and the progress of the city this year. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, that's about all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thomas?
I just heard in the news this week that the game farm's gonna be closing. Is that correct?
Katie, you want to touch it?
So to sum up, basically, it is not closing. The state, we just found this out today, I just got an email from the USDA press person. The Justice Administration and the DNR has known since September that they needed this enclosure. But they canceled multiple inspections of it and they didn't construct it. So it will reopen once that's built. But there was a one-day exemption for French Creek Freddy made. After
Okay,
Joe Manchin
so
made
they're
a
not
call.
closing the game farm?
No, they're not. It is closed until they put up they erect this outer enclosure. So basically, like, all the animals are enclosed in their own enclosures, but then there has to be a larger enclosure that goes around everything.
So the news report, was it right, was not correct?
What Justice
was.
said during his briefing that he had just found out, like, yesterday, that it was closing wasn't, and they couldn't have the groundhog, was not true. The state has known since September, so it just was frustrating because, a lot of kids get excited for that, groundhog. So, but basically, yeah, it is closed currently, and it closed January 2nd, but it will reopen, I believe. It's just a matter of how soon they can get that outer enclosure built.
They need fencing and things like that.
They need fencing around the whole thing, because we did an article, and I had even forgotten about this, but like a couple of wolves escaped in 2020,
Yeah.
and there was, one of them was found immediately, and the other one was like roaming through the night, and it was really scary. So that's why they have, I think, the requirement for the outer enclosure in case an animal gets out of it first. So yeah, it will reopen,
Yeah,
and it will be open tomorrow, just
yeah.
for French Creek Friday to come out at 10 a.m.
But what I heard last day or two is that it sounded like it was closing permanently.
No,
Well, in fairness, Katie, I think this is evolving news,
It
right?
is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is
So
evolving news.
At one point, there was speculation and there was probable reason it was gonna be closed unless there was, resolutions made, agreements reached, and so on, right? So it's kind of.
yeah, it was indefinitely, it was
Right.
in closing indefinitely, like, meaning we don't know if it's closing, like, for how long, or if it's permanent. Or-
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it was alarming what I heard. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, the federal government had someone change their mind, basically. He was persuaded, whoever it was, at the USDA by Joe Manchin. At least that's what Manchin said, and that is true. So it will be open for one day, but yes, it is unknown at which point it will reopen. I don't know.
Because it appears that the state has had a lot more revenue than they had initially budgeted. And that they're in pretty good shape financially, so I was sort of shocked that I heard the announcement. So,
Well, remember, it's not just the state, it is the USDA. There are multiple layers with the Wildlife Center, so.
It's been very complicated, and I don't think I've ever thought about a wild animal this much in the past 48 hours. It's been
Yeah.
quite the news cycle.
Last year donuts, this year Freddy, so.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that for me.
Yeah, it's
I appreciate that.
from the response I got, and it's on our website now, but from the response I got from the USDA guy, it seems like they were just annoyed that Justice said that made it seem like it would never open, and they were just saying, we would wanna work with you, and et cetera, so it seemed like they don't want to have it closed, so that seemed more positive to me, I think.
All right, anything else, Mr. Thomas?
No, I just thank everybody for being here this evening, and you all have a great weekend and be safe.
Thanks, sir. We continue to keep CJ in our thoughts, wishes, and prayers. He is not with us this evening. I do believe he's home, he's fine.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to come to see
Yeah.
you, but he had a doctor's appointment at
Yes.
7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just emailed, he just sent me a text a few minutes ago and said, just running late.
Yeah.
Everything is fine though.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Mr. Sanders.
All right, well, we talked about the event center a little bit this evening, so I just wanted to kind of bring a short report on what's been going on with the event center. I want to give a thank you to the city departments who have been pitching in to help. You know, when we have to flip it, set up tables, move chairs, it's definitely a 2, 3, 4 person job to do that. Those tables are pretty heavy, and to get it set right. So the city street department has helped us on multiple occasions. Crew over at Stalker Youth and Community Center pitched in with cleaning. And some of the tenants that we've had, you know, like when we had the Country Roads Fire conference, when the conference was over, our firefighters just said, what do we got to do? And they started stacking chairs and moving tables. So we had that thing broken down in record time. But we are, as the mayor said, we are looking through applications now. We hope to find some staffing there. The ideal situation would be have a full-time manager for the event center. It is in demand. We booked a couple of weddings the last couple of days for this summer. We also, as we said, had the Country Roads Fire Conference there. We just had the Vera Wang BUHS Baseball Boosters Bingo this past Sunday. We set the center for 320 people. Mr. Nestor came out because it was an activity to raise money through the foundation that Mr. Nestor works with. And of the 320 seats we set, probably all but about 30 were used. So I think we're about 290 people there for that event. We have coming up the Hands and Hearts for Christ comedy show, which is always a big fundraiser. The Buckhannon Chamber of Commerce annual awards banquet will be in March. In April, we have a report on the corridor, which is being hosted by the BU Chamber of Commerce. The Shriners Elimination Dinner is scheduled for the event center. Buckhannon High School prom will be held there again this year. The West Virginia EMS Coalition is holding their workshop and their convention there this year. I mentioned several weddings are being booked now. I may have missed a few things, but we have several activities on the books for the event center at Brushy Fork. And I could see it could be a very, very robust and active center once we have somebody there that's focused on it day in and day out. That's what it's going to take. I mean, again, I want to thank the city, you know, AMB and everybody's been helping, you know, cover the different areas when need be. I want to thank folks for this last snow, for getting their sidewalks cleared as quickly as they could. And Pam, you mentioned and Mayor, you mentioned the Charles W. Gibson Library. Catherine, you and your board of directors did an outstanding job, and you know, I was involved with some emails going back and forth and so on. So good job on that. Thanks for being proactive. So and thank you for a wonderful State of the City report.
Oh, thank you. Always glad when that, I spend a lot of time writing that, so.
It was a good job.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody. Good meeting this evening. Remember, we need to have a brief executive session regarding personnel matters and then a possible property matter update. And then, other than that, it's 8:39. I'd entertain a motion that we adjourn into that.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.